Welcome, horrible people, to the Horroble Opinions Podcast. As always, I'm you totally don't know me, but maybe you do know me, but also Kenny loves Chachi.
I don't know what any of that meant.
You'll get it later when I remind you.
Okay, I am a light pole, Daniel.
I'm the queen and you're the sorry people, Ryan.
That's right. If you haven't guessed it yet, heads up, fuckers. We're watching Hereditary. Let's go get that bread. That was a separate thing. I wasn't the reference.
I have
to
a
the
nut
movie.
allergy.
Yeah, these nuts.
I was wondering who was going to make a D's Nuts reference first. I'm glad it was you.
I wasn't going to.
I wasn't
going to.
But then he dropped nuts. I also wasn't going to talk about butts and the other thing, but then he said there won't be any butts, and I had to change that.
Yeah, that was my bad also.
I'm a horrible person. Okay, look, guys.
Talk to me.
Give me a synopsis.
Okay, Daniel, you do the first sentence. We're really going to follow through with this time.
This isn't going to be like last time.
Not last time, where
Last time
I said we were going to do it,
took over.
and then I just took over the whole thing.
Right, but that wasn't my fault.
Like
You
a
just did
dead
it.
meddling G-Maw. Okay, I'm not going to do it this time.
You just did it.
We're not here to point fingers.
First,
and we're not here to be the blame.
First sentence. I feel like the first sentence is the hardest.
No.
It's like starting it off.
This is what
If you
happens
just
when
do
nobody takes responsibility for anything.
I'm not blaming. I'm the blamed. Just read the IMDb one, and you just get
that
the first
is not
sentence.
how we do this.
Okay, here we go,
Well,
Daniel. You ready?
It's one sentence.
Yeah. How about one word at a time?
Following the death of Grandma.
Strange things start. Do they start happening following the death? Following the death of Grandma.
No, I said that.
I'm following the death of Grandma. Another accident happens. Another family accident happens.
Kenny, I think payment was transferred into Daniel's brain when he was young, and this is the result we got.
It's either payment.
It's Mesopotamian payment, so it's actually a woman, and that's why it's freaking out. It doesn't want to be in Daniel.
It doesn't want to be a woman or a man. I don't know.
It just wants
but
to
this
be.
also could be.
Let payment be.
I just want to be, man.
Horrible listeners, we swear we did not let ChatGPT write their opening line share there. Daniel just had a malfunction.
I didn't want to do this.
So apparently we open our synopsis with two sentences saying after Grandma died.
I said another family accident happens.
But you said after Grandma. He said after Grandma died.
That was to
said
phrase
after
my
Grandma
next.
died.
That was to structure my next thing.
But his sentence was supposed to structure your thing.
I wasn't repeating it like that. I was repeating it to myself.
I'm giving you guys one more chance.
Bitch.
I'm giving you one more chance before you end up in one of my. God damn it! God damn it!
I'm gonna.
Okay. I'll repeat the sentence. Since it bothers
so
you so
close
much,
to
I'll
getting
repeat it to
sprayed with
myself
paint
in
thinner
my
right now.
head.
Oh, I'll spay you.
Spay you, spay me.
Yeah, this is going great. Look,
What do we do it?
what if I told you guys that originally in conception this movie was just a family drama, no spookums was happening?
100%, I believe you.
Yeah, that's what they say. I'm like, yeah, no, it could be that.
Okay, synopsis for this movie. Following the death of a grandma.
Yeah, we get it. Grandma died. It's the fifth time you've told the audience.
But
Right, so
you don't
following the
understand
death of
how
the grandma.
important that actually is. Following the death of grandma,
you don't understand.
the family tries to deal when another family tragedy occurs, which instead of bringing together, just highlights how isolated from each other they are. And then we have spookums happening, and it turns from a family melodrama to a paranormal activity, Rosemary's Baby, The Omen situation.
Didn't like my second sentence,
Baby.
but fucking used my second sentence.
Look,
Criticized second sentence, uses second sentence.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about family deaths, boys.
There's about to be one.
When they start happening that quickly, you realize it's not going to pull you together because it doesn't need to. Because soon there's only going to be one of you.
The strongest.
The strongest. You've entered a survivor family because at that point you realize death is on that family. If I'm if I had to come to that second wake, like so quickly after the first, I'm like, nah, there's going to be another death in this family.
I wouldn't have gone.
Well, because I only got the one casserole, and they're going to remember it from 3 months ago, so if I do it again, like, shit, man, how many of my casseroles do you want? I know they're good, but come on, man. I can't be making the same casserole. Now I got to find another casserole recipe or I look like an asshole. I never got a sick tree house. I've been in a few. They seem dangerous.
Here we go. How many Magnus Archive fears are in this movie?
I don't remember all the Magnus fears.
Okay, I'll give you some. Well, you sure you do.
It's been over a year since I listened to Magnus.
Okay, I'll start with my list, and if you think I need to add anything, you let me know. We got fear of death, which is the end.
Okay.
Fear of abandonment, which Charlie has after Grandma dies, because she says, "Who's going to take care of me now?" So we got the lonely.
Me, silly.
We got the desolation, kind of, which is Peter's guilt that his actions have destroyed one person's life and kind of the family dynamic even more. We have the stranger, that we don't actually know those people around us. We have the web, that we are actually being controlled. Our actions are not our own. We have the spiral, which is a fear of mental illness. We have the eye, which is a fear that we're being watched, that something's hidden around us. And there was one more, like the fear of, what's the fear when you have like bugs on you?
Oh.
The corruption. The corruption.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the fears now. That's what the characters had to deal with in that last season.
I mean, it's what the whole thing is about.
Yeah, but like they had to go through like their literal manifestations of those fears. What about the fear of not being properly appreciated for your work? Toni Collette should have won awards for this movie.
Toni Collette is a treasure, and I will put her image above my bed.
Maybe not from this movie.
Yeah, you will.
Maybe from Krampus, where she scares me less.
No, it'll be like the ending scene when she's sawing her own head off, and she has those like judgy eyes just staring at you.
Yeah, you thought she knocked the piano over for no reason. So look, we get a nice little family. We get mom, dad, 2 children. Apparently, at some point, they pick up a dog. Because a dog shows up at some point later.
They've had the dog.
I'm just saying, the dog is never really addressed.
It's established. What do you mean? You first see the dog when they come home from the first funeral.
Yeah, but like nobody cares about the dog. And then like
the dog's not getting haunted, so it's fine.
Dog,
and they never are.
I think, do we eventually see the dog dead outside?
So I thought that pile of hair were just a bunch of severed heads, and so I freeze framed it, and I think that is cute dead dog alert at the very end when Peter gets up. And it's that lingering shot of the woods and that kind of fur. I think that's when we see dead dog.
Now, for me, Peter usually gets up in the morning. Sorry, this is a dark movie. I had to really, it lingers. I didn't sleep well last night. I didn't have anything to do with the movie, I don't think. Maybe it did. Someone kept grabbing my fucking head from behind the bed. And let me tell you something. If you're going to do that, like, massage my scalp or something. Like, don't just be, like, yanking on my neck. Because now my neck kind of hurts. That's why I got to move my bed against the wall.
My bed is against the wall.
Yeah, so's mine. So why?
So was his.
Peter is a problematic person for me because he sleeps with his bedroom door open and his bed is right in front of the door so he can see all the way down the hallway. I don't think he sleeps
with the bedroom door open.
Every time we go to his bedroom, the door is wide open.
That's because somebody's opening it.
The Pie Man?
The Pie Man. Mr. Pie Man himself.
Mr. Pie Man himself doesn't want closed doors. Look, okay. Early on in this movie, we got standard business dad. We got
good dad.
We got standard dead grandma.
Dead grandma.
We got moody teenager with a guitar. We got mysterious preteen daughter, and we got intense arty mom. Now, grandma's dead. Mom's trying to comfort mysterious preteen daughter. Well, she might have been at teen. She said she was 13 later, I think.
They go to the same school.
Yeah, which makes me think that. I don't know. Maybe
he's senior. She's
it could be a senior, freshman, senior, sophomore. 13.
Senior freshman. You're right. Freshman's the word I was looking for.
Still 13 though. That's kind of young for a freshman.
Well, who said she's 13?
The mom did.
Mom's a lot. Mom doesn't know how old her kids are.
I don't know. Maybe
she might not.
She's advanced.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she might not have.
Grandma would know the age.
Grandma would know. She talked about Millie is mysterious daughter. Oh, sorry, that's the actress who played her. Charlie this mysterious daughter. Millie Shapiro played her wonderfully, saying, when you were a baby, you didn't cry. And I don't trust a baby that doesn't cry, because that means they're plotting.
I don't trust a grandma that forces the mom to not breastfeed the baby and instead breastfeeds the baby herself.
I don't trust a grandma who leaves notes and books that talks about we'll be getting rewards for all our sacrifices. This being my third watch, not close together, I was really looking for more of the clues of what was happening because I knew what was going to happen. And it's great. This movie sprinkled all throughout, like little hints and clues. So Grandma was like, don't worry, we'll be rewarded, ha ha ha. And she sees us though, and then she looks up and we get our first like creepums, which is a spooky floating grandma in the corner, all creepy. And they do these like corner creepy shots, of whether it's on the floor or the ceiling, throughout the movie so fucking well. The lighting's
what's it
good.
called when you're afraid of corners?
Well, it's called the Hereditary effect.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say it means you're Blair Witching.
Blair Witching?
Yeah.
People out. These bitches Blair Witching.
But they're not looking at the corner.
Can we talk about?
They're just sitting in the corner.
Let's talk about the model house at the opening scene.
The creepy dioramas.
So, okay.
Beetlejuice.
Are you ready? Because I got. It's okay. You can't see it, but I got my tinfoil hat on. In spirit.
Put it on.
In spirit. It's in spirit because
should put it on.
There's the house. There's physical house in this movie, and then there's the tree house outside, which is separate from the house. Okay, that is the tree house is Payman's consciousness. Okay, the house represents some form of order and a little bit more grounded reality, but the spiritualness is outside, and that's where Charlie prefers to be. Because she's not actually part of this family, part of this reality. She is separated from it, and that's why she prefers to be out in the happy, happy little treehouse. The diorama of the house that Annie has made, the first scene of it as we're pushing into Peter's bedroom, the attic. We cannot see into the attic, and we cannot see into Charlie's room. Because these spaces are like the workings of our mind. They are closed off to us. We can't see what they are. And it's later in the movie when we enter those spaces that we see just how screwed up everything is. But it was all hidden from us before, like the inner workings of our mind, a la mental illness, a la family trauma, PTSD, all those good stuff.
I'll give you most of that. The only part that I would minorly disagree with is I would argue that Annie is just as much, if not more so, isolated from the family than Charlie.
So Ricky Martin's song She Bangs just came into my head. I don't know why.
Well, she knows how to get your attention.
She moves. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, when she wants her attention, she gets it.
Yeah, look, I found the little dioramas where she had like copies of her family like standing around or whatever more creepy than anything else in the movie. Now look, I don't know if you noticed this, guys, but in Mom and Dad's bedroom, Dad has a digital clock on his side and Mom has just a fancy old regular clock.
I didn't.
You ever get the significance of that?
I did not notice that, but I'll tell you the significance is Dad is more grounded in the modern world and Mom is living more in the past. You want to say?
No, I just put that up there because I thought someone would read too much into it. I think it's just they each like their own clocks.
Bullshit.
For their own alarms.
Not in this movie. Not in this movie, my friend.
I put down, this means something.
Not in this movie. You know why? Because, okay, here's pop question.
Well, no, it does mean something because she just needs a little push towards the supernatural. He has to be dragged.
Oh, that's because...
And even then, you have to set his hair on fire to get him to see anything.
And even then, yeah.
I'm sure Daniel's seen the last thing I posted, because we are going to bounce around this a little bit. Just momentarily, I seen some fun trivia on this. The production designer wanted to play with the idea of sacred geometry. So early on, we go into Dead Grandma's room and we see a big triangle on the floor.
I hate triangles.
I love triangles.
So that's the first hint that you need to keep your eye out for certain things. We'll start to see markers and whatnot on the walls and whatnot.
Ooh, who knows what the triangle's for?
So according to the thing here with the sacred geometry,
okay,
the triangle represents Annie, Peter, and Charlie. Now, there's a square around Steve's character. at some point. I don't remember if I seen the square or not. So the square stands for home or groundedness. And then we have the circle for Ellen.
You want to know what the triangle stands for? I can tell you right now.
And the circle is, I guess, supposed to be representative of infinite or Genesis for Ellen.
Yeah.
And so I guess if you look on the second floor hallway, there's squares and triangles carved all up in that bitch, too.
Okay, Daniel.
So the triangle is live, laugh, love.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So you got that triangle, but if you'll remember the infamous dinner scene where we just we free all our emotions.
How uncomfortable is Kenny?
So, yeah, in that scene, the way they're sitting, none of them are opposite of each other, so their positions around the circle form a triangle. The triangle is for the spirit. After you summon the spirit, it's like a beanbag chair for them. It's a place where they're supposed to go and hang out. That's their summon. Legit, it's their summoning zone. Yeah, it's a beanbag chair. You summon them.
Why not?
You summon them into the triangle. But you're like, here, rest on the beanbag chair.
When you're in a beanbag chair, you can't get out of a beanbag chair.
And you don't.
Look, I like beanbag chairs.
You don't want spirits to get out of their beanbag chairs.
You guys think Charlie got what was coming to her?
So I think Charlie. I have so much conflicted emotions about Charlie. Number one, Charlie is never Charlie.
Right.
Charlie's never Charlie.
However, Payman doesn't know that it's Payman.
Right. It's a classic Jackie Chan Who Am I demon situation.
Right.
Classic Jackie Chan Who Am I situation.
Now, Payman Charlie.
Yeah, I don't think she deserved to get her head knocked off on a roadside telephone pole.
Was part of the process.
I will say, Charlie is on the poster for this movie.
Yeah.
Charlie is the weird girl. You're like, something's off. Something's gonna go bad with her. And then she gets her head knocked off. And
she had it coming.
This is a rare moment where I truly did not expect that and had no idea what was going to happen in the rest of this movie. I paused the movie because I had to go run around a little bit and come back because I couldn't handle it because I was so sad and confused and went, what has just happened?
Yeah, well, you should have known it was going to happen because we had a scrotum's head. Charlie took the scissors outside and took the kamikaze bird that hit the window in the classroom that she was in when she wasn't taking her quiz. And she
Charlie
goes over
didn't
to the
do that.
bush.
Payman did that.
It's the same person. Charlie is Payman, but for the sake of keeping things less confusing, we'll just keep calling her Charlie. Goes over to the bird in the bush and just cuts the bird's head off with the scissors.
There's a lot of imagery here of head being separated from the body. So let's say,
that's how the soul leaves, right?
Consciousness,
mind leaves through the butt.
Right, the mind, the consciousness as separate from your robotic movements, right? Whatever that vessel is. So the whole movie is telling us is the consciousness of this isn't right. It doesn't belong here. And Charlie's dolls, none of the heads really match the bodies either, what she creates. So the whole imagery, it's all symbolic of the consciousness is not where it's supposed to be.
I think a smarter team of people could probably make the case for this being like a good trans allegory.
I mean, everything can be whatever you want to make it.
But I'm not that. I can't do that.
You know what
I think it's there though.
I think it's there too. I can't do it either though.
You don't know the real terror of this movie? I don't remember what they call this type of design in the wall, but like going down the hallways and shit, they have that like nice fancy like wooden thing going halfway up the wall with like the little grooves. What is it like? It's not wainscoting. Is that it? No, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it's got all the indentions and grooves and all that shit. You know how much dust is going to settle on all those fucking surfaces that you're going to see. You're going to have to
this is a rich family, so they have a maid, so I wouldn't worry about
it.
A
maid?
You see that house?
It's a nice heckin' house.
It's a nice house, but it's out in the middle of nowhere.
It's in Utah.
Middle of nowhere. A hellscape land in the middle of nowhere.
No, it looked beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's a great house. Just in the middle of
even
nowhere.
The surrounding, there's like a mountain.
Well, that's why they picked that location. I think it's specifically because they found a cemetery in the Snowy Mountains or something like that. And like, oh yeah, that's a heckin' good spot. So, look, you cut off a bird's head and then you wave at the random creepy lady.
Well, we skipped over, which doesn't matter, but I want to call it out.
Let's call out favorite stuff about this movie. I think that's easier.
The symbol carved into the light pole is the same symbol that's on Grandma's necklace that she's wearing.
Yeah, you'll see shit carved into all sorts of shit. Now, I don't think I noticed the symbol the first time I'd watched it, but I did make note of it this time around. And I'm like, ooh, like, again, having to watch this movie more critically for this definitely showed me a lot more stuff. Like, did you realize the mom was weighted on the ceiling at some point?
Yes.
Holy crap. Yeah,
Not the first time.
Yeah. Ryan, how much did you shit at that scene when Peter woke up and mom was already in the corner?
She's there the whole time.
Whole fucking time.
But it's not. It's not announced though that she's there. He wakes up, and she's there.
It's very dark.
And depending on your brightness settings, Daniel, you either notice it or you don't. Now, the first time, I didn't notice it. I saw her. I noticed it when she.
Did you see her fly out of the room?
Out of the room, and I went, "What the hell was?" So we've gone full blown Exorcist 3. All right.
Yeah. Also, depending on your brightness settings, you might see a dong earlier than others.
Oh, lots of old nudity. Now, my question is, how old do we have to get to where we just don't care?
Oh, I already don't care. You want to see my dong right now?
Only if we're summoning a demon.
Oh my! Well, it is the demon.
And these the smiling dong people, those are the same people that are at the funeral for the grandma.
Yeah, that's why the Toni Collette Annie was like, boy, she wouldn't even believe this many people showed up for her funeral. Crazy old strange grandma. Let's go to a grief circle.
Yes, another grief. Now, is Joan in that grief circle the first time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
And she loves Chachi. Joni loves Chachi. Jesus Christ, guys.
I want to call her out, Ann Dode. She's so good.
She's so good, but yeah. I pegged her as the hag she was immediately.
Well, she kind of plays that in everything.
Oh, does she?
Ryan, how quickly were you...
Good.
Yeah, she's good. How quickly were you thinking Rosemary's Baby on this, Ryan?
Okay, so I guess I got... From the very beginning, I was like, this is kind of like the book The Dollhouse Murders from the diorama. That's my first thinking. And then I got, all right, well, I'm getting Omen vibes just from the weird soundtrack that's focused on Charlie. And then I was getting Paranormal Activity 3 vibes at some point. I think that was when Joan showed up, because I'm like, oh, it's a coven of fucking witches, isn't it? And Rosemary's Baby would have been much later. It would have been when would that have been? Whenever Annie's talking about her mom insisting on... it's when I saw the diorama that depicts Grandma trying to breastfeed Charlie. Then I'm like, oh no. Yeah, that's why you're her favorite. She put the devil in you.
Yeah, so like to me, like this movie mashed up, it was like Ari Aster, the writer-director here, was like, what if we took the lore of Paranormal Activity and made it a little better, and then mashed it right up with Rosemary's Baby, and then just went to town with that general idea.
Based on some of the interviews I read, it's kind of like what you said, Kenny. This starts as a family drama about a tragedy that has occurred that just continues to destroy the family, and then he said, let's throw Rosemary's Baby on top of that, so that audiences would actually want to see this.
Ooh, baby, we got a stew going.
It's amazing how well that works, because from the way it sounds, like with the stuff I read as well, it almost makes it seem like it's just shoehorned in there, but I don't think it is. I think he took time to really layer that shit back in there and make a nice flaky
pastry dough. His first movie, by the way.
His first movie, and
this is insane.
This guy came out with bangers. Ryan, wait till you watch the next one.
Really, next one I would think is a more difficult watch.
It is, and as Daniel and I were discussing out of pod, it's not as universally loved. I'm not gonna say Hereditary. Everyone loves Hereditary, but most people who love Hereditary, I've heard a lot of discourse on Midsommar where people were not fans, and they just don't like a good time.
Okay, so
we could do Midsommar in the future.
Kenny, you got your Book of Demons, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got my Dictionary of Demons.
Beautiful. Daniel, you got your Lesser Key of Solomon somewhere, or you looked at it.
I put it on my Amazon wish list.
Beautiful.
That's where I got my Book of Demons. Amazon, bringing the demons home.
I'm going to read you the description for payment, and you're going to tell me the bits I made up or that are not in there at all. You ready?
Oh, God.
Okay. The ninth spirit in order is Payment, a great king, very obedient to Lucifer, gets the devil Breckers every morning.
I mean,
now,
I didn't see the part about Breckers.
I say made up. I reworded things for modern English.
I mean, he is definitely on Lucifer's jock.
I don't detect any lies.
He appears in the form of a man sitting on a camel with a blinged out crown on his head.
Blinged out.
The camel and the crown were mentioned.
He has a great roaring voice, and there are a bunch of musical ghosts which introduce Payment's arrival wherever he goes, like the OG Aladdin movie.
Yeah, this is
Payment.
So good.
Yep. The summoner will not understand what Payment is saying unless you compel Payment to speak American and make sense.
Which I thought was weird. Like, you can't understand the demon unless you tell him, hey, just talk different.
Talk
just
normal.
Talk American.
Yeah, exactly. The spirit can teach us about the arts, sciences, and other secret things. He can tell you about earth, wind, and water, and probably some psychology.
I don't think he's going to teach you about arts. I don't think he's going to teach you about the arts.
No, arts is definitely mentioned. I didn't hear about earth, wind, and fire, but
earth, wind, and fire.
He loves them.
Not so much fire.
He does have the mysteries as the nature of the earth, though. I took that to mean as like, why is it here? Why are we all?
Why does he know about earth?
He's a demon.
The location of the abyss.
Demon don't live on Earth.
And the origin of wind. So you're right in it with your summaries.
He can teach you how to stand and deliver, how to bind other people to the summoner like followers on OnlyFans.
Yep, with his own chains.
He can also help you network with other people who know a lot more than you do. Still good?
Sure.
Okay. But you got to show that respect and look towards the northwest. Because I'm telling you, fam, he is high up on that corporate ladder, and he has around 20,000 wage slaves doing the real work behind the scenes.
Also true. You got to think about those people. They killed that deer, and then they dragged that deer in the middle of the road.
So the question is,
and then they probably sat in a bush nearby and watched.
How many people are in a legion? The internet said 6,000.
How many people in a legion? Okay, because I was seeing like 25 legions potentially was the most I seen.
We'll get there in a second.
Maybe it's 250.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you try calling this player to come over by yourself, you better be ready with snacks and plenty of them, because he usually only rolls out with his entourage, Bebel and Abalam, and 150,000 other suckers, but they might not show up unless you ask them to be there.
Yeah.
And also,
he doesn't always come with his little buddies.
He doesn't always, but sometimes he does, and you better have the snacks.
Sometimes he does.
Gotta have the libations.
Also, his symbol looks more like 4 people rowing a boat than a crown, but don't tell him that.
Don't tell him that.
How'd I do?
Yeah. No, a lot of that's there.
Also, I'm pretty sure the gifts that Payment could bestow pale to the internet.
You think the internet's brought to us by Payment?
I'm saying everything Payment could have given you is what you can get from YouTube.
Well,
I mean, a
lot of the stuff that you have mentioned, but he's also...
It's the equivalent of just being well-read or, doing a lot of schooling.
Well, I do see, additionally, he is attributed with the power to cause visions, raise the dead, give familiars, and summon spirits in diverse forms.
And they do mention familiars.
He can further answer any questions about the past, present, or future, and he can make the magician fly.
Yeah, the internet ain't going to tell you about the future.
Also, apparently, specifically
GPA will.
Yeah, GPT.
You don't even know what you're saying.
I don't.
He's hip, he knows. The angel Haziel has the power to constrain him.
Oh, yes, that angel.
Yes, and specifically, he is, as you mentioned, the Northwest. He is one of the 4 demons over a cardinal direction, so he's got the West. And apparently, he is equated with the fallen angel Azazel in the rabbinical lore. So I guess on the rabbi Jewish side, he would be equal to their Azazel. I guess it's not all 1-to-1. They have their own different names in their versions.
All these demons are getting co-opted in different grimoires or in different religions, and then getting tweaked a little bit. Like in some of the stuff, he's more feminine, but then you get into the patriarchy, and they make him a man.
Wants to be a man, don't we all?
But as far as it seems like he's more knowledge based, whereas it would be better to summon, if you're going to go from the Bible, Mammon, who's the equivalent of wealth. Or there's another one. Who is this? It is, oh God, here we go. Clawneck, who is able to give wealth and take it away. Clawneck is in The Secrets of Solomon, the Grim...
is it a K or a C?
That's a C. Grimorium Verum.
All these books you're mentioning,
come at me.
This Dictionary of Demons cross-references.
Sure. Which
is pretty nice. Everyone, I recommend you go buy the Dictionary of Demons. I just have it sitting around. Clawneck, ranked first in the hierarchy of demons, serving under Duke Cyrac, which sounds like a Mortal Kombat character.
It really does.
He is greatly loved by Lucifer, and thus has a great many powers, mostly concerning wealth.
Brings him breckers.
For the magician who works amicably with him. Clawneck will reveal the location of hidden treasure and can also swiftly bring great riches to his master. He also gets like a paragraph. Pie Man gets like half a page. Pie Man gets a whole fucking page.
Pie Man really does. Like some of these other lesser demons are only getting like a paragraph, but
Yeah, you want to be the Pie Man. So, look, Pie Man, if you want to just see a guy show up on a camel with a sick crown and have his cronies like play some horns, or if his cronies don't feel like playing horns, he'll just sing on his big-ass voice, then that's who you call the Pie Man. Nothing to lose your head over.
Did you notice that in the picture in this movie, the depiction of Payman, as he's riding the camel, on his belt, he has 3 severed heads?
No.
Okay, it's there. And so we got Grandma gets her head cut off, Charlie gets her head cut off, and Annie gets her head cut off.
That's true.
I do have a question. Now, it seemed like Grandma did not intend for Annie to die, that she didn't actually have to die.
Grandma was conniving in so many ways. If Annie wasn't gonna die, well, I guess maybe from that note, you might think that, like, oh yeah, we'll be paid back, you'll get paid back all these riches for what we did. But I think they're just kind of implying, like, in an afterlife situation, like, maybe we'll come back like Force Ghost, so powerful from the sacrifices we made the demon. Because I don't get the sense one way or the other that she either was or wasn't supposed to die.
I don't think she gave a shit that she died, but I don't think it was part of the plan.
It was just like, you're around this, there's a good chance you die, whatever. Pie Man's coming.
What else?
Gotta get the Pie Man.
I think we get like 3 types of, oh God. Okay, there's a book called Natural Symbols by Mary Douglas, and she describes 3 different types of possession states. One is where the spirit has total control of the person, and so it's a what is it? Like an exorcist situation where, what was the name of the demon in Exorcist? Pazuzu. It sounds like what's coming out of a kazoo. Like if that had fully taken over Regan, that would have been total control. Then the second one's like a mediumship where the spirit comes into you and possesses you, but you still you're speaking. The spirit can speak through you, basically. So that's kind of what happens with Annie when Charlie enters her body the first time and just starts speaking, but doesn't actually do anything. And then there's like a shamanistic one where you summon the spirit and you get the spirit to do your own will, your own bidding. And I thought that was interesting, so I shared it.
Well, all I gotta say to you, Ryan.
Oh God, talk to me.
We got a huge party, so bring your dick.
I bring my dick to every party.
That's kind of attached.
That's the well, not every part stays attached in this movie. That's the text that our baby boy Peter, the sweet Alex Wolf, gets. So he's ready to go party, and Mom's like, "Look, no drinking," and he's like, "We can't even get drinking stuff. We're underage." That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Okay?
That's not an answer.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, we all know that's not an answer.
Look, I'm not gonna drink. Look, I believe him. He's not gonna drink. He's gonna get fucking
He's
high.
gonna get baked.
He's gonna get straight zooted, bro.
But you know what? See if your sister wants to go. You take her with her. And then she's out there. Charlie, you're going to this party. I don't wanna. Well, you're going. Yep, Peter, she wants to go. Like, this is your fault, Mom. You're just as bad as the grandma. This is real bad. I don't like this at all.
Well,
don't make her go.
This is Mom trying to get the daughter to re-socialize. Because I imagine Grandma has been keeping her isolated.
Isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
This is the demon that's going to bestow riches upon us. It's mine. Okay, so mom is feeling really guilty that grandma was doing all this parenting and she didn't get to do it. So now she's trying to step in and be the parent. So she wants Charlie to be socialized, and it's the act of doing that gets ultimately kind of gets Charlie killed.
Now, do you think the mother forcing no contact with Peter really shifted the whole plans? Pyman could have been in Peter this whole time and just skipped the whole Charlie thing.
I think it was if contact had been allowed when she was pregnant, then I think grandma would have put the payment into Peter. That would have been absolutely the plan.
Yeah, because Charlie says early on when she's being comforted by mom in the bed there about grandma dying is that grandma wishes I was a boy.
Right.
And it's just like, well, you already had a boy, though. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, no contact.
So I wonder then that if maybe once Annie got pregnant the second time, if grandma came back into the picture before Charlie was born or before they knew the gender of Charlie. And so grandma thinking, oh, you've already had one boy, odds are probably you'll have another one then. And that's why she put payment into Charlie, thinking Charlie was going to be born a male.
Possibly. I think she's just taking any chance she got because she, the mother mentions during her grief circle, I let her back in. And then, and with the second baby, because I felt bad that I kept her out. And maybe you should have just kept her out. But that's neither here nor there. It's fine. We went to a grief circle. Everything's fine. Look, we have a cameo in this movie. And I know it doesn't make sense because the movie it's cameoing from came out way after this. But we're at the party, and Mysterious Daughter, which is now Creepy Daughter because she was doing things with dead animal parts earlier, she spots the light from something in the dirt just floating around.
Yeah, okay.
Did you see that?
Well, it's in this movie a lot.
Yeah, that's the light from something in the dirt. I know it is. I know light.
Kenny put on his tinfoil hat. I know light, dude.
Look, let's get to this party. Let's go to this late night barbecue. Let's ignore the fact that Ghost Grandma was having a nice fire circle out in the yard before we go to the party, and
wasn't Ghost Grandma. That was one of the witches.
Sorry, Ghost Witch.
Oh, you think that was really someone down there, and Annie just missed it?
Yeah, how did Annie miss a whole fucking fire circle?
Because she's focused on the kid being out there in their fucking socks.
I was gonna say Annie didn't miss no. That kid needs to take off those damn socks before they even get in my house. Charlie, off with your head. Fucking dirty ass socks.
I guess it could be a ghost. I never thought about it being a ghost. I just thought it was one of the cult out there.
Nobody else seen it. That's kind of my thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, no one else is paying attention.
What, Daniel? I think I'm going to say you're right that it is actually a cultist out there with a fire, because the scene in when Peter is in class and the professor is talking about whether it's more tragic that if the hero has a choice or the hero doesn't have a choice. Right? Which makes it more
who they were talking about?
Tragic, yeah. And it's there, and then they're mentioning
You do?
Oh, what's that?
I said, do you remember who they're talking about?
Heracles?
No.
Definitely a Cleese.
No.
There's a Cleese.
It was Agamemnon. That name always gets me.
Agamemnon?
Agamemnon?
Agamemnon. He's one of the people from Iliad, right? Odyssey. One of those things.
Let's see here. Well, I posted a screenshot of his family history because I thought it was appropriate. Agamemnon.
Oh, I can't do it.
Agamemnon. His family falls under the curse of the house of Atreus. So
Atreus.
Atreyu.
Agamemnon's family history is rife with misfortune.
Son of Kratos and God of War.
Well, the way I look at it is, it doesn't seem like Ari mentions anything in his movie without there being some potential purpose.
Right.
So when I seen the curse on his family, beginning with his great-grandfather Tantalus, who is in Zeus's favor until he tries to feed his son Pelops to the gods in order to test their omniscience. So he's that guy that tries to trick the gods into eating human flesh.
I don't think you have to trick them. They'll do it.
Yeah, I think they'll just do it.
They're nasty.
But he...
yeah, they do eat butts.
Yeah, so he puts... Basically, though, it's... eat the butts. This person at the head of the family put a curse down on the rest of their family with their actions. So I'm like, well, I guess that could be similar. You could line up with what the grandma did, even though, she did it on purpose.
Right. And also in that scene, they're talking about how the hero has the writing is on the wall, I think maybe is what they say, but the hero is oblivious to all the signs around him. And so, and then when they ask Peter, what do you think? He literally goes, huh? All right, so he's just oblivious. So I can believe you, Daniel, if you say Annie is also oblivious to this other thing. That's because she's focused on Charlie in front of her and missing out on literally all the other signs.
I think if you look slightly out of frame of the camera at any moment, there's always a cultist just
there's
lurking
definitely
around,
cultist
keeping watch.
Breath. The first time we see Peter take a hit on that bong.
Mm-hmm.
So we already know
always there.
They're always there. They're always watching.
Whoa.
We're just not always showing them.
Hi.
And these motherfuckers ain't paying attention.
I have good weed. These are good opening lines. If you guys ever need to pick up some chicks, whoa, hi, I have good weed. Charlie, go eat some cake. Did the cultists show up there and put nuts in that cake? Are they showing up at every party just to drop nuts? It's fun to look at these movies and go back to thinking all the setup, like Daniel said, dragging the deer out there that the cultists have to do. Like, how many of those grief circles was...
they're at every single one.
So Joni
She's
just
probably
got
sitting in the parking lot, at least sitting in the parking lot, waiting to see if she goes in.
Oh, no, the time where they're just hanging out in the parking lot is when when Annie comes out of the craft store and Joan is also in the parking lot when Joan's all happy.
So,
and that's the Kenny Daniel issue of, well, how long was she just hanging out there pretending to put things in the trunk of her car, hoping Annie would show up?
It goes deeper. So that they know where Annie goes. So once they establish contact with one of the other things, they know to wait like at the shop and whatnot. But how many other places to handle your grief do they camp out? Are they sitting outside a liquor store? Are they sitting outside a church? Are they sitting outside, I don't know, a strip club? Maybe Annie likes to party. Like, how many of these places are they peppering to guess where she goes to deal with that big grief? Because obviously she's never gone to a grief circle before.
Correct. But Payman somehow knows all, right? And so this isn't...
So we're gonna go with that?
This isn't... The sacrificial lambs in this movie don't actually have choices to make. They just have roles to perform. They don't have a choice in what's going to happen. It's just going to happen. So
by your logic, though, that means either before Payman was put into Charlie and went all, who am I? He conveyed the playbook to the cultists, saying, no, they'll go here. You handle this. Because the way I look at it is ever since Pie Man was put into Charlie, Pie Man's been out of commission until they can bring it all to the forefront.
I think you can still speak to Pie Man. You just got to do it through ritual and magique with a K.
Maybe. I like to think that, nope, Pie Man's out of commission for now. We got to go get the Pie Man. Okay, what's the playbook? What's the grief playbook?
Sure.
They probably pepper all the places she already goes with like an advertisement for that grief circle, if I had to guess.
But I don't think that the cult is responsible for the nuts in the cake, nor are they responsible for the deer on the road, nor are they responsible for Peter's driving. That is just fate. That is like divine will.
No, because the symbol.
I know the signal is on there, so it's like a magnetic force.
Magnet.
It's an attraction.
Yeah,
but it's not that.
Oh shit! Maybe what we didn't see was the deer accidentally ramming its head into the pole and then falling down dead in the middle of the street.
It was also rubbing its antlers on the thing, like they like to do with trees and whatnot, and it carved the symbol. Now look, Peter has weed, but I want to hang out with Charlie because she's got cake. And she getting that cake all up on her face.
Oh, she does. I love it.
People are making fun of her in the pot room because they're like, look, Charlie drew me last week. She made me look retarded, dropping a hard R, so she should have died, probably. And Charlie rolls in there like, hey, I can't breathe, dog. My throat feels like it's getting bigger. I just wanted to bring that up because later Peter has a weed panic attack and he says, my throat feels like it's getting bigger. And I feel real bad for Peter throughout a lot of this movie. He goes through a lot. Like Charlie got the quick, easy exit, kind of. Then she got to come back as Charlie Pie Man in Peter, which is very confusing. She gets to be 3 people now. But also, okay, you guys remember the party, right?
Oh, yes.
You remember Peter carrying Charlie out of the party?
Yeah.
Their car Yeah, it's so sweet. Their car is parked right at the front steps. Like, they got the best parking. I'm thinking that. And then we pull out. There's no other cars there. How did all these other people get to the party?
They were dropped off.
Oh, hey, thanks, Mom, Dad. Drop me off at this party.
Yeah.
I won't be drinking. We got some pot, though, if you know what I mean. Don't worry. And then Peter driving, like, don't worry. We're going to get to the hospital. I feel like they're just driving home. He's like, I see the light. Well, no, he's like, we're almost there. I'm looking. And they show the shot out in front of the car. There's no lights. They're not almost anywhere.
Well,
he's
just being reassuring.
Well, and he did take a big bong rip. And then
everything seems closer than it really is.
Yeah. And then Charlie really can't breathe, so she does the thing we were always told not to do as children. She hangs her upper half her body out the window of the car. Peter's driving. We get a big dead deer in the middle of the road. Peter swerves to the right, and Charlie's head makes contact with the massive pole that the shot lingered on earlier to show us the carving. And he slams on the brakes, and he's just sitting there. And we get to see his face, and it's going through emotions. His eyes are tearing up, and it takes a good little bit of time before he's like, okay, are you okay? And he kind of looks up in the rearview mirror.
Looks up, doesn't look up, looks down.
Yeah, looks back down. And then I love this. It's like, I tell him right now, I'm like, you know what, bud? You had a rough night. Let's just go home. Don't worry anybody about it. Let's get you a good night's rest. Let's just go home. Let's just go to bed.
This is such a kid move. Such a kid thing to do. You just broke something in the house. You can't face up. You can't go tell mommy and daddy. So the best thing to do is you just go to sleep.
Well, I mean, how do you start that conversation?
Well,
I don't know.
Great.
Okay, so when Charlie's head made contact with that pole, I went, ah! And then I had my little hissy fit as I'm running around my house. But I didn't, just from that shot, it happened so fast, I didn't know she was decapitated. So when we get to the scene later where her head is just lying on the road covered in ants, I got hit with another shock because I'm like, oh my God. Not only did mommy have to go find your upper half of your body, I guess still in the car as fresh as a Missouri morning welcome, your head this is a series of unfortunate events is what this is.
Lemony Snicket, yeah.
I'm willing to bet mom wasn't able to go get her balsa wood.
That probably ruined her balsa wood going adventure that day.
Yeah, god damn it. So look, it's like when your child breaks one of grandma's tchotchkes and they don't want to tell you, but on a bigger scale. But then Peter gets home, he gets out of the car, he goes inside, and you hear Annie telling Steve, like, oh, thank God they're home. I'm like, oh no, they aren't.
Well, they're kind of home.
Like, oh no. And look, this is how you ask how you start that conversation. This is what you do. You walk into the bedroom, you go, Mom, Dad, had a bit of a whoopsie. Don't worry though.
Hey,
I don't want you to panic.
How attached were you to the daughter? The car is fine.
The car is fine.
So if you're a property over human life like Kenny is, we're good.
The car is fine. The car is
great. Nothing bad. I managed not to hit anything against the car.
I didn't hit the deer.
The thing is, when you hear her screaming outside when she goes to the car, it's not because she's found Charlie's body in the back. It's because
she's happy the car's okay.
No, it's because he didn't fill the tank back up. Oh. Car's on E. And I said, we got like mom like aggressively crying in the bedroom, dad trying to comfort her, Peter just standing like he's about to just kill himself immediately in the hallway outside.
Yeah.
And I said, don't worry, Peter, you're still the favorite because now you're the only.
You cannot be the favorite.
Well, that's the thing. You're also the least favorite. That's how it goes. It's a double-edged blade.
I think he's more the least favorite than the favorite.
But still the favorite.
I liked that at the funeral. So as we're lowering the casket, we do the cut. Oh, did you want to talk about this?
Well, I was going to say my note was I love the camera falling down with the casket directly into the earth.
Into the earth. Okay, the reason I like this is because it's continuing that diorama motif, which signifies these people are dolls. These people are playthings. This is a set that is being manipulated and moved around by an outside force. They still don't have control of their act. They don't have agency. They don't have control.
Which we should mention, one of the opening shots into the house is the camera pulling into one of the dioramas, slowly getting closer and closer and closer, and it's a smooth transition into the actual house.
I tried to pick out the moment it switches to not being the diorama. I can't
do it either.
Here's the thing, though. It could have been early on, because this whole house is a set piece purposely because they wanted to be able to take the walls off of it to make easy to do these transitions. So that's all. The house, the whole thing is a set piece in Utah because they did want to use that Utah setting. And so it works. It works so fucking well because of that. Like this, Ari, for this being his first movie, is there a term for getting deeper than balls deep?
Chin deep.
You get so deep you go up your own ass, which is what I'm going to be doing this entire episode. But I don't care. I love this movie. Someone cared so much about the dialogue, cared so much about shot composition, foreshadowing, symbolisms, and they put it into this movie. Good God, this might be my top 5 movies, horror movies.
All time? So here's my thing so far, and we are bouncing around with this. We're going in and out, and that's fine. It's an easy movie to talk about. My thing with Ari, so I've seen his first 2. Obviously, Beau is Afraid just came out, kind of. I don't know if we have access to that yet. I haven't seen that yet. Hereditary and Midsommar are both fantastic. They give you a lot to chew on. He has a distinct feel to his movies. My concern is he's feeling himself, and so far he's hitting, but it makes me nervous because eventually you see some of these creative geniuses start to believe their own hype, and maybe they get lazy. Are
you saying The Happening is a lazy endeavor?
You knew I was going to go with Shyamalan?
I
think Shyamalan started feeling himself and believing the hype, and we all started making jokes let's just start putting in twists because that's what we do, baby, and they're all great, but they're not.
So Shyamalan has his gimmick is the twist in his movies. That's what he's coming from. Whereas Ari, there's not a twist in this movie. It's all laid out.
Right,
there's no gimmick.
There's no gimmick. It's just the craft is exceptional.
It'll get to a point. Well, I'm not saying it will. My worry is it'll get to a point to where other people are going to start trying to imitate Ari. I'm worried that one of these days he's going to have something where he doesn't quite naturally feel it, so he's going to start to try to imitate himself. Now, the thing that makes me less concerned is apparently he's already got it was 10 or 20 fully fleshed out scripts that he wants to shoot. And one of the things that got Toni Collette on board with this movie was that
all the dead animals.
She didn't want to do anything more heavy or dark, but she read the script and it was amazing. But she referred to Ari Aster as the most prepared director she's ever worked with, and praised him for practically having the full movie already shot and edited in his head 2 years before they filmed the first scene. So
that's just a director, right? Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Daniel,
the implication for here, though,
do you remember when there were goblins at that wedding?
Right.
Okay.
2 years of goblins sitting in the head.
I'm just saying, this is you're worried about things that haven't happened, might not happen, and have no bearing on the quality of these first 3 movies.
Well, it's the thing. It's like Icarus, these directors that hit it so good so early on. You worry, are they going to have it fly too close to the sun? Are they going to come down? So I don't want it to happen, but it's God. It's the odds of him continuing to put out such bangers.
I don't worry because it doesn't matter.
Oh,
it doesn't matter because you have control over nothing.
He could have retired after the one movie.
Everything is fated.
This is true.
Everything is destiny. Fate never changes. Halloween. Laurie Strode. There you go.
There's a Halloween reference in this.
It's the very opening. Movie. It's basically the scene with Peter in the classroom. It's almost parallel with Laurie Strode and Halloween.
Yeah, escaping fate, all that jazz.
So we got.
Except Laurie Strode is paying attention to what's happening around her.
She's a good student.
That's
Peter's
why
on
she's
the
not
devil's
going to get
lettuce.
possessed by some lesser Solomon demon. Okay, Daniel?
She would get possessed by a major.
Now you say lesser. I think the Pie Man, look, he's working his way up. Okay, he's bringing Breckers. You don't say a lesser demon if you're bringing Breckers.
Nope.
You become like BFFs.
And
forever means something in hell.
Forever does. I like that after all the funeral stuff, we got Annie, who's choosing to grieve basically in the treehouse, which I think is supposed to represent the essence, the spirit, the mind. We've got Steve, who's grieving in Charlie's bedroom, which is where the control and order is supposed to be, because that's what he's representing. And that's where you're supposed to sleep, right? You got Peter, who's off in his own room because he just can't deal with any of this shit. And then we got all hail the King Pigeon, because the King Pigeon is great.
So here's my issue with Annie sleeping in the treehouse. Do you see how close both of those heaters are to her sleeping bag and her head?
Well, it's cold out there.
It's cold, but that is too close. Those things are fucking hot. Her skin will be melting at that point. The sleeping bag will probably catch on fire. This is her wanting to kill herself. She specifically says, I want to die.
Well,
this is how she's trying to do it.
What you're not seeing is so she falls asleep with them that close, and then little cultist creeps up the ladder and just moves them a little bit and maybe dials it down because we need you.
We need you.
They are definitely there.
We need you. Oh, they're there. I'm saying but also Mom's a wimp because Charlie was raw dogging that winter. She was going out there no heater.
Did you see that in Charlie's room, her ceiling, it's a triangle coming down, and then in the treehouse, the ceiling is also a triangle coming down. So it's basically a mirror image showing the duality of Charlie as part of the family as Annie's daughter, but also Charlie as Payman separate out in the treehouse. Daniel, I love this movie. This is a movie. Look at me, Daniel.
Daniel, I should have pointed out more random things like the clocks just to make Ryan think it also meant something. Sometimes
Kenny, there is nothing in this movie that does not mean something. Okay, I'll give you this one. The scene where she is making the diorama of the accident and Steve walks in. If you look at it, the pole is splitting the frame in half, and Annie is on the left side of the frame and Steve is on the right, and the pole is literally dividing them so that Annie is living in this weird trauma world and Steve is doing his best to try to be somewhere else. So they're not even coexisting in the same realm.
Oh yeah, no, that was 100% intentional. But when we're talking the shape of the ceiling in this one room, and the shape, did you see the grass on the left side of the driveway and then the grass on the right side?
Did you see in Joan's apartment, the second time Annie goes over and you have the triangle on the table, and then you have you have Charlie's figurines and a picture, I think it's of Peter, and the way it is arranged, it is the exact...
You mean the third time?
Is that the third time she goes over to the apartment?
Because she doesn't actually get inside.
Right,
the camera shows us that. The second time is the seance.
Yeah.
The first time is just a...
Third time, it's the camera shows us, yeah. Okay, from that one, the layout of those objects is repeated in the very final shot of the movie once Peter is now Payman.
Yep.
Amazing.
No, it's good. There is a lot of stuff that connects, and that's why when I was watching, I was like, oh, this was a dangerous movie to show Ryan. It's going to be a problem, because you're going to see all the stuff, but I think you're going to see extra stuff, and we'll never know. And that's hilarious. I love it. You love it. Daniel loves it.
Okay, let's. I don't think any of these characters have a choice, and I don't think they could have changed anything. However, there are two instances where, let's speculate. First one, the Annie doing the seance at home.
She's a medium now.
She is a medium now. If she had not done that seance, would the family been okay?
No. Well, yes. No. Yes for now, but I think they would have got it at some point. She obviously did not watch Deadstream.
Did not listen to Daniel.
I don't understand. Because, okay, so a couple of times, okay, Joni's popping up more. Joni's a lady she met at the grief circle and immediately tries to force a bond with her. She goes to Joni's apartment the first time because Joni gave her number and said, call me if you need anything, after she's seen her sitting outside the grief hall after Charlie died. She goes over there. She's staring at the doormat with Joni's name on it. At first, we're thinking maybe she's staring at it because it's a really tacky looking fucking doormat thing. And then she's like, oh, hey, my mom used to embroider doormats just like that. And Joni's like, oh, yeah, isn't it so cute? Well, first red flag. It's like, what are the odds? Well, guess what? Joni is part of the cult. Joni, new mom. We're going to find pictures of Joni and mom together in a scrapbook, a photo album of, dead grandma's stuff. The second time we run into Joni's outside the hardware store where we're probably picking up more balsa, because that's the only wood I'll use. And she's like, no, I'm happy now. Look, I know you're not going to believe me, but I was at a group seance thing, and there was a neuroscientist there, and you could tell his mind was blown. So now you know it's the real deal. So you know what? Look, hey, I understand. I wouldn't have believed it, but come over with me. Let's use a glass instead of a Ouija board and what do they call a planchette?
Planchette.
We're just going to use a glass. You politely put your hand on the glass. I'm going to get my grandson. He's going to move the glass. Look, he moved it. Now I'm going to pull out a chalkboard, which they straight up, it was a practical effect. They had to get a magnet inside that piece of chalk and then use it on the board to get it to write, which they said was a pain in the ass to get it to write normal with the magnet in it. But
I imagine.
They do that and set her up like, look, okay, hey, if you want to do this yourself, you take this. You got to read these words. I don't know what language it is, okay, but you got to read it. And then you could summon them, but you got to have your whole family there. It's very important. They're all there. Peter needs to be there. So we further isolate. Like, Steve doesn't have to be there for this. Peter is the only thing necessary. Steve is just collateral damage. And so she gets there, and it's 1:45 in the morning. This woman wakes up.
Oh,
Steve
I wrote that
Peter.
down
She
too,
needs
Kenny.
to die.
It's the witching hour.
1:45.
It's the witching hour.
Yeah,
1:45.
I'd say any time between 1 and maybe
3
in the morning. If you're
3:30?
waking me up, yeah, you're gonna die.
At one point, when she's leaving Joan's apartment, the camera focuses on the apartment across the hall, and it's the number 222. Does that mean anything?
I think it was 202.
20. It means, what does that mean? Something?
I
Well, if
don't
you
know.
multiply that by 3,
Because the camera focused on it for some reason.
if you multiply that by 3 and add 60, which is how old Annie is, she's 60. No, that's how old Joan is. She's 60. That's 666, Daniel. Look, don't worry about it, okay? We're gonna have a little family seance at fucking 2 in the morning. And look, please, Steve. Please, Steve, please,
Please, my sweet
Steve,
baby
do
boy.
this. Steve, look, I've always loved you. I love you so much. You're the love of my life, Steve. You're the love of my life. Please.
I love Balsa more than you, but
Peter's
second.
over there. Peter's like, yeah, I'm in. I just want you to love me, so I'm in. Let's do it.
I laughed
fucking
as well,
love me.
Daniel, when he said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah, I'll do it.
Like,
Because
funny.
this is after we had our dinner scene already, where mom basically her face is the rage. Oh, by the way, I like Steve putting her in her place where she's like, "I'm making dinner." He's like, "I made dinner. I came here to get your ass." Okay. Ooh, stand up for yourself, Steve. Real man of the house. Mom tears into Peter because Peter's like, "You need to say something, Mom," because she's over there making faces and scoffing at Peter after he's complimenting the dinner. And she's like, "You're over there sneering at me." He's like, "Bitch, you sneered at me. What? Peter's just over there trying to live." It's basically they're saying, "Yeah, it's your fault. Nobody wants to take the blame." And then Peter's like, "What about you, Mom? You made Charlie go." "Ah, how dare you?" And so that happened earlier. So now Peter and Mom, it's a little rough, but Peter's ready to get back on board with this instantly because he just wants to be loved. That's the reason. That's why I went back to that scene. Also, it's an amazing scene, and we probably shouldn't have just brushed over it. That's where she should have won the award, I think. So we're doing the same thing. Put your hand on the glass. Well, how the fuck did that happen? Steve's like, I'm not a fan of this. We pull out Charlie Pie Man's little drawing journal. Like, look, she's gonna draw. Charlie, can you draw in this? Steve's like, I'm not supporting this anymore. This is not healthy. And he's right. This isn't healthy. We should not be supporting this. And he's like, nope, I'm outie. Go to bed, Peter. Go to bed. No, Pete, don't go. I swear she did this earlier. Like, nah. Fuck off. Okay? Fuck off.
Okay.
Just fuck off. Okay?
Second one is after Peter gets possessed and bashes his face into his desk a couple times. Classic.
Classic.
And Dad has to go pick him up and driving. And before he's going, almost drives through an intersection on a red light, so he has to stop. And so we're at an intersection. Okay, so we're at a crossroads. And this is where he has a breakdown. He starts crying. He then chooses to drive Peter to the house when he could have literally taken him anywhere. So
when does he make the phone call to Annie saying, like, we're
before.
done? Okay.
Yeah, before this.
So he'd already potentially decided to make the right decision.
Yeah,
and then went
he
back
had told
on
her
it.
he needs to protect his son. However, he doesn't know he's not doing it, but he brings Peter back to the house. So Annie screws them all over by having a seance. She didn't have to do that. And Steve gets Peter, by at the crossroads choosing to go to the wrong place. So both parental units have an option, have a choice, maybe, to make this have a different ending, but they both choose.
I don't
they
think
have
the
chosen
seance
poorly.
matters.
Steve is just unlucky, I guess, in his choices.
Quick quiz: what is Steve's profession? What does he do?
He's a stuffy office sitter.
He's some sort of a doctor. But not like a doctor, but like a brain doctor, but like a psychologist, maybe a
like
psychiatrist.
A
I think he's a psychologist. Did you know there's this movie was originally like 3 hours long?
Yes, but it was just more character dialogue, like the family dialogue. That was
I think I read like in some, either it was a draft or version of this where Steve is Annie's either psychologist or associated with her treatment way back in the day, like after her brother had committed suicide, and that's how they met. Something along those lines.
We did mention the brother suicide.
That was their first attempt at getting Pie Man in.
Yes, because
the brother.
She mentions in her grief circle thing is that Annie's brother killed himself and blamed their mother for putting people inside of him, which is like, oh, well, that's not great. And as far as the Annie and Steve marriage, that could be believable. We were never really given their ages, but in reality, Toni Collette is like 22 years younger than Gabriel Byrne, who played Steve.
Sure.
So that if they wanted to play that off as the characters, yeah, that's totally believable.
Okay, I'm gonna say one more head up my ass thing, and then we'll let it be. We know that Annie sleepwalks, or had sleptwalked back in the day, and that during one sleepwalking episode, she woke up in Peter and Charlie's room when they shared a room together, and had doused them with paint thinner, doused herself with paint thinner, and had a lit match in her hand before Peter screamed at her and she woke up and she put the match out. So in that instance, it is Annie's subconscious that knows what is going on and that she needs to end this by just setting everybody up, just killing them all. Otherwise, it's not going to end. But she herself doesn't know it, so it's like that closed attic in the diorama that's closed off to you. It's her subconscious that knows what's really going up. The subconscious has read the script, knows what's going to happen, is like, no, set it on fire.
But by that logic, potentially the subconscious gets on board at some point, because then she sleepwalks in there and tries to pull Peter's head off herself when she gets behind the bed and starts pulling on his head. You don't think that actually? See, you don't think that actually happened. She does,
because there's no way to get behind the bed.
That was my thoughts. Unless she just got under it and then hooked her arms up there.
That
and started
leverage is
doing
all
it.
weird. She'd have to be in the wall.
It's so weird. Well, she could be. This is her house, man. She do what she want. It's okay. She had that weird dream though, where she slept. Like, it's very weird. A weird dream where she sleepwalks into Peter's room, and then Peter's the one who's waking up, and they have this conversation.
Oh, she's like, I never wanted another child. Oh, I never wanted to have you. Ooh.
Yeah,
I tried to kill you as a baby. Ooh, or as a fetus.
Oops. It's like, why? Well, I was scared. I didn't feel like a mother. Then why? She pressured me. I tried to have a miscarriage. I'm glad it didn't work. You tried to kill me. I love you. And then she's on fire. And then she wakes up. So that's very, very interesting. It's fun.
I like the idea of her trying all these things to get rid of the fetus, and grandma's working behind the scenes to make sure it stays.
It's like one of those, it's like Kung Fu Hustle, where like when the lady's trying to like throw herself on the ground, the owner lady, and like he's running around catching her each time.
Yeah, so, it's like, just like Kung Fu Hustle.
No. So like Annie tries to throw herself down the stairs, and Grandma slides out of nowhere with like a fucking pillow and puts it down below her stomach.
Yeah,
and she tries to, I don't know, use a clothes hanger, and then Grandma replaces all the hangers with plastic ones or something.
With gummy worms.
Classic gummy worm hangers. It's just all this like shenanigans. Like, let's play off the Grandma flashback movie. It's just a comedy, and like Pie Man sitting in the corner, like just like, oh, you. I'd watch that. In a heartbeat. Try and get me to stop watching that. You can't, because I'll keep watching till the end when it's canceled, probably before it concludes its first season. Look, during the seance, I forgot to mention Steve shuts it down after Annie gets possessed by Charlie Payman. Which is sometimes spelled Payman. He's like he squirts her. He throws water on her face. A little squirter saves the day. Get a little cover in water. That's fine. I thought that was funny. You squirt all over her. It's good. Don't worry about it. Look.
What if instead of like a glass of water, you had like a super soaker?
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have one prepared. I had one last night when I tried to do a seance. It didn't work because I think maybe it's because I use a plastic cup, and I don't think they appreciated that.
No, they don't like modern technology. They would have preferred a wood chalice, maybe.
Yeah, and we got creepy lady again hanging out on the other side of the schoolyard, and I think it was Joan this time. She's over there trying to expel Peter, from his own body. Peter, I expel you. Xanthony, Dagdany, and Paragon. Peter, get out!
Peter's having a rough time.
So is Paimon. Pieman. He's a dude, and he wants a dude's body. And we find Grandma's Book of Invocations while Peter's getting possessed at school. We see that Joni loves Chachi and Joni loves Grandma. We see more weird light. We see look. Oh man,
that light is Paimon.
The light is Paimon. Yes.
The light is Paimon.
Who keeps lighting all these candles?
Right, and just leaving them lit in the attic.
Yeah, dangerous. We forgot to mention, Grandma's gravesite was tampered within the first week, and we find out why, because Grandma's body's in the attic. Steve thinks Annie's having a mental breakdown, and she's doing all this, that she dug up Grandma.
She is having a mental breakdown.
But what if the whole thing is in her head, and this whole thing, she murders her family, and this is just her vision of the last thing, like, there was no demon. She just fucking killed everybody. You could play that off. This whole thing was a lie to us. It could have been an unreliable narrator.
No.
Peter wakes up from a bad dream. Mom is immediately up in the corner above the bed. It is a fantastic shot. He's like, oh, what the fuck? We see Mom skitter across the wall out of the room like a little wall bug. Yeah. And I'm like, Peter gets up, and I'm like, Peter, just shut your door, bud. Go back to bed. But then we hear banging things. Piano tips over. Peter's walking down the hall. He shuts another door. I'm just like, you shut your own door. I was like, Peter, maybe just leave, bud. Gets down there. Piano's fucked up. We see the diorama dollhouse. And I'm like, Peter smells something delicious. That's what's up. He goes around the corner. He sees Dad, who's burned to a crisp. Yeah. Because Dad, Annie asked Steve to burn the drawing book of Charlie's because she's like, this will destroy it. I tried to do it. I almost set myself on fire. I need you to do it. Proceeds to dump paint thinner on the book. And I'm like, this got all over Dad, too. Maybe Dad doesn't. But whatever. Dad throws the book in there in a fit of rage. Annie
He refuses to throw the book in.
And then across the room, Steve catches on fire. And the look on his face, I think that's a weird doll or something they're burning because the face looks kind of fake. Like, ah, that was funny. So Dad's burnt to a crisp on the floor. Peter thinks it smells delicious. We get the camera slowly moving around the room a little bit. And now Mom is up in a higher corner above Peter.
Loves those corners.
And it's so good. It works just as well the second time. And then there's a naked old dude, just in a doorway.
And it's the same dude from the funeral who was smiling at Charlie.
It was Smiling Jack.
Smiling Jack. And then Mom is like, okay, I'm done waiting. Pops out in front of Peter, and we do a chase. Peter's running back upstairs, and he gets chased right to the attic stairs ladder thing. Goes right up there. Mom shuts the thing. Peter locks it, and I'm thinking, Peter, bud, you didn't even shut it. So I don't think she's trying to get you. She's the one who shut it.
You hear the pounding on it? And you're like, oh, she's pounding on it, but then the camera pulls that back, and you just see her fucking slamming her head against it over and over and over and over.
It is such a good shot. Oh my god. Now, so many candles. Again, mine would be scented. I feel like Daniel's would be scented.
Absolutely.
Especially with dead grandma in the attic, and we got a picture of Peter, and his eyes are gone.
Well, grandma's not up there anymore.
Yes.
The dust
we
of
seen
grandma is
earlier.
there.
Grandma's dust, and then the picture of Peter with his eyes out or lying in the middle there. And we see a big window, and I'm like, just use the window, bud.
We all know you're going out the window.
Yeah. So now, look, yeah, mom's out there getting in a rhythm with her head, like, yeah. And then we get surrounded by more old naked people, and that's when Peter he sees old tips, he sees old tits, and he sees old ass, and that's when he's like, nope, fuck this shit, and he does a sick dive out the window.
No, you're missing something, bud.
What? Well, I was kind of breezing through it. What I skip over?
The most important thing.
So go ahead, Daniel.
It hit me.
He hears a noise. It's like, what did you describe that noise as?
It's like shunk, shunk, shunk. I don't know. What's the noise for when you saw your own head off with piano wire?
Yeah, mom is up, floating in the air. Just gotta get flossing that neck.
You know, there's a piece of meat that's just stuck on that bone in my throat.
That's what I fucked up my note there when I said, yeah, get in a rhythm. I thought I was talking about her pounding her head on the door. No, that was when, she's sawing back and forth, and it's like a jaggedy motion at first, but then she starts to get in a rhythm, and it's going quick. So yeah, she's floating up there, does a heckin' good saw with the piano wire, and it's an iconic shot from the movie. My head was just putting it in the treehouse for some reason.
And then he jumps out the window.
Yeah, I still think it's because of the old tips.
And then you hear the noise accelerate, and then you hear it stop, and then there's a thud.
Drop. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And you see a shadow going over Peter's still body.
Well, that's Peter leaving. Peter's gone.
I thought that at first, but I don't think it is. I think it's the shadow of mom floating over him. I think Peter...
I think that's the shadow... I think that's Annie's body floating as well.
I was on page with you at first, Daniel, but then I went back. But then the light, though, does go down to Peter.
Yeah, Paimon goes in him, yeah.
So now they're kind of duality. Peter, I think, is still slightly in there, and I think he always will be. So Paimon Charlie now is... Paimon Charlie Peter is now walking towards the treehouse and goes in the treehouse because the light is on again, which I loved earlier. The first time the mom goes in the treehouse and turns on the heaters, you see the light reflecting in Peter's eyes because his window faces it, so it's got the red in his eyes from that. That's a great shot. We go up there, and I'm thinking immediately, first off, it's cold, put some clothes on, dead dog on the way there, and there's too much weight in this treehouse. Someone needs to quit ringing these damn bells. There's a sick statue.
It's got Charlie's head on it. Charlie's severed head.
On it.
With the crown.
With a crown.
For some reason, I put down multiple Peters in this room because we got Peter and then all the dicks. We got a picture that says Queen
Leah?
Whatever the grandma's name was.
Her last
Leah?
name, yeah.
Like
yeah,
Liana or something.
And then they take the crown off the weird statue and put it on Peter. I'm like, King Peter, who now looks like Jughead with that crown. And then Joan. And then Peter talks, but it's Charlie talking. And it's like, don't worry, Charlie, you are Pie Man, and you're now in your new body, and we'll get it all figured out. So now you're confused. First, you were confused because you were Pie Man in Charlie's body, and you didn't know you were Pie Man. But now
Pie Man doesn't want to be in a
girl body.
Lady. He likes dudes.
Likes dudes. Who doesn't? So now Charlie Pie Man gets put into Peter, and now Hail Pie Man, happy ending song, but it's not such a happy ending because Pie Man didn't realize now, next day, he has to get a job.
I think he just looks confused because the first thing he's going to say is, you could have just got everything I'm about to tell you. It's on YouTube. All you had to do was watch YouTube. Back when I existed, before electricity, before the written word, back in those times, I could really have helped you out. But now, man, you just watch Mr. Beast. He'll show you what to do, or I don't know.
This is a cult of all middle-aged people. They can't work the internet.
That's why they're all old. They don't know. That's why he has power.
Here's the thing they also didn't think of, because they need to give us a montage here of them training Pie Man to be Pie Man again, because he's still just Charlie. He's like, it's Charlie, and she's confused as shit. Like, where's Peter?
I think she'll get over it. I think the only reason that Charlie was the way Charlie was before is because
she wasn't the intended vessel.
It's because it's Pie Man, and he's confused because he's in the wrong body.
Right, she wasn't the intended vessel. But here's the thing.
But now that Pie Man's in the right body, it's a trans allegory. I can't do it.
It's weird, though.
Somebody can do it.
They put Pie Man into Peter's body now, but Pie Man is still very much Charlie.
It's still Charlie.
Pie Man is Charlie.
Yes.
Right.
There is no Charlie.
But there is no Payman.
Yeah, the Payman Charlie confusion thing still persists now, maybe because they fucked up.
Here we go. Now we got a nature versus nurture. What is it right now? Settle it.
Right. So can Payman be Payman if he doesn't remember how to be Payman?
If he was never taught to be Payman, or it's always going to be Charlie.
So it's your
I think they really screwed up this ritual, guys. I think they really should have rethought this.
Took him too many jumps.
If Damien hadn't been groomed by the surrounding demons and worshippers, would he have ever grown to be the Damien that we know from this Omen series? He had a chance to be good.
He was born of a jackal.
Yeah,
that ain't right.
That ain't right.
If you think about it.
If you think about it. Look, Ryan, did you even like this movie?
I know I'm riding high on this. I'm seriously gonna have to calm down, but then reflect. Whether or not I like this more than the original Exorcist? Because they both present family dramas, families falling apart, and a supernatural element. Right now it's really close.
As far as like how it lingers with you a little bit, I would give them, like, I'd say they're on par for that element. But as far as like enjoyability for me watching this movie, this one has some big moments, but it's a little long still for me. There's a couple moments where I feel like it drags a little bit. Versus The Exorcist, I've never been bored.
I feel the opposite,
and I can see that. Like, I could see people definitely saying The Exorcist drags.
I think The Exorcist drags a little bit, but this did not.
I think it just kind of depends on when you were introduced to The Exorcist and what you've seen and whatnot. Like, I grew up on The Exorcist. Like, that one's always been.
I don't think that works because I'm the same.
Well, you also suck.
For me, this movie is up there with Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, The Wicker Man, The Exorcist. It's one of. I think this is a required viewing.
It's good. It's something though I can't watch a lot. This is why it's only the third time I've watched it, and it's been out since 2018 because it weighs on you. This isn't a comfort watch for me. There are some dark, messed up movies I can watch like on repeat because they just kind of soothe me. This movie doesn't soothe me. It eats at you.
Yes.
In a good way. It's a damn good movie. I love this movie. There's a lot to chew on, but even if you're not coming into it to chew on all the little, bits here and there, which you got to at least be paying attention and seeing the symbols pop up because it makes it so much more fun. But even without taking into all the extra shit in this movie, just straight up, it's fun. It's shocking. It gets the scares right. I mean, the mom in the corner, the head sawing off, like Old Man Dick. That's all terrifying.
It knows when to escalate, and once it escalated, it just kept ramping up until the very end, where it gives you a what the fuck moment, and then the movie ends.
Yeah,
perfect.
He cares about his scares. Like, these are not just thrown in jump scares and like that. They put a lot of thought into them and how they played off. Like, I love jump scares as well, but they can be used cheaply as well. They're not in this. Nothing in this movie comes cheaply. Like, everything is worked for, and I feel like everything pays off. You feel like you could take out the horror elements, you'd feel the real family drama, and that's part of the horror because, well, for me anyway, like, that shit like makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't need to be around that. Like, go grieve quietly by yourself.
Yeah. How many times?
I don't need to hear.
When watching this movie, how many times do you be like, yeah, Steve, I've been in this. I've been right there with you, Steve. Oh God, crazy people just yelling at each other, Steve. I am Steve. I am Steve.
The whole world. I am Steve to the whole world. I'm the whole world, Steve. You guys need to stop. Just fucking stop. Okay, I just want to make a nice dinner. I made dinner. You didn't make dinner. Just fucking stop. I don't want to talk. Grandma died. Charlie died. Let's just move on. You want a new Charlie? We can go do a new Charlie.
We can do a new
I don't
Charlie.
care. Just stop. Just stop. Also, a couple of the words on the walls I wrote down. Let's see.
I'll tell you what they mean.
Okay.
Pandemonium.
I didn't do that one.
Which one? Liftoach?
I didn't do either of those.
Oh, well,
but that's
Liftoach,
open the gates of hell or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Liftoach is to open. Pandemonium is
hell.
for all demons.
Open chaos, yeah.
There was,
and that chaos
what were some of the other... Yeah, there was
Satany, which is a necromancy thing, bring the dead back.
Dagdany and Paragon, that was what she was yelling at Peter.
Zazos, that's what Crowley used to summon the demon Chironzon. Obviously, we all know this.
At any point in time, did either of you yell, "You mustn't read from the book"? Because I did. Also, I made a joke when she was talking about mediums that I only deal with extra large myself.
It's a good joke.
Yeah,
it's a good joke
I'm full of good jokes.
A meaty boy like you.
I am a meaty boy. So, anything else anyone wants to say? I recommend watching Midsummer if you want more Ari Aster. You want just more like movies that kind of keep you filled with dread.
Movies? You like movies about grief?
Oh yeah.
Well, do you like movies about grief, but it's encapsulated in paranormal activity so that you can watch it? Otherwise, you would not be able to watch it.
That might be the problem with the next movie.
Go watch The Witch if you want something more lighter, but you want
maybe
Spookums
watch
Family.
The Witch with like a script so that you know what everyone is saying.
It is a little thick. Go watch the Paranormal Activity series if you want family cult business, but a little lighter on your soul.
Watch the Wailing.
Go The Wailing. That'll linger with you. Go watch Rosemary's Baby. Do not read the sequel to Rosemary's Baby because it's fucking awful and it ruins everything. So spare yourself from that. The book is also, the first Rosemary's Baby book is also good. Go watch you can watch the original, but I kind of think I prefer the remake of Suspiria. Ryan, if you haven't watched it yet, you don't get to judge. It's a banger. Any other recommendations?
Yeah, go support your local mom and pop occult bookstore.
They need it. Because their frequent customers end up just all dying at once at some point.
They always either like vanish mysteriously, die mysteriously.
Yes.
It's never good.
Yes. Okay, one last chance to get something in there. Anyone got anything? Ryan, anything else? Recommendation?
No.
Get you a book on demons. I don't care which one.
Okay, yeah.
Get you a book on demons.
Go get the Lesser Key of Solomon.
I personally have the Names of the Damned, the Dictionary of Demons by Michelle Bellinger, which cross-references a lot of the bigger books, and it's nice. The demons are listed in alphabetical order throughout the book. We got pictures.
Are there pictures?
Oh, that book looks amazing.
We've got, I just happen to have one with a titty demon. But, yes, no, this book is amazing. I got recommended it by author named Richard Cadry. He uses it for all his research because he had a book series called Sandman Slim that had a lot to do with hell. So anytime we do a movie that has demons in it, I go there and I read that, like with the Best Friend's Exorcism.
Persona!
Yeah, I read our guy from that. It's all good. But, well. As always, I've been your I Made Dinner host, Kenny. They're thinking really hard, folks.
No, I'm going to have to wait for Daniel because he always goes first before me.
I've been your awkward family dinner, Daniel.
I've been that boy in class who takes out his cell phone and starts filming the other kid bashing his face into the desk, Ryan.
Oh.
That happened in that scene, in case you missed it.
Anything for the TikTok. We film everything now. Don't worry about it. Sorry you're all depressed now. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Look to the northwest.
Bye-bye.